This is a First Defense weather alert.
Well, a happy Saturday evening to you. Just a little after 6:30 here, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, and wanted to give you a update on the wind situation that is going on across the region right now. And the high wind warning is now in effect, has been in effect for the past couple of hours, and will stay in effect until 11 o'clock tonight for basically all of Western New York. And we've already had those strong winds coming on in. I've been checking the wind reports, and I'm going to try to see if I can get it to show you so you can see what I'm looking at here. But the Weather Service just probably about 20 minutes ago, just posted what's called a PNS, or a Public Information Statement, and on the winds of the highest wind gusts that they've seen, that the region has seen so far. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So I'll just read to you the highest wind reports I've got here on my screen. So in Chautauqua County, the highest wind gust is 68 miles per hour. That occurred at 4 o'clock this afternoon. That was measured in Fredonia. The Dunkirk Airport, 63 miles an hour. Ripley, 52. Cattaraugus County, the only report that we've got in is from Delavan in the hills at 53. And the Jamestown Airport, the current wind gust sits right now at 46 miles per hour. That is the current peak wind gust for the day, 46 miles per hour at the Jamestown Airport, which is located north of the city. And people ask, why do you go with the airport? Nobody lives at the airport. Well, the airport is where all the official weather observations are taken. So that is why we go with what the airport data is. And the temperature now is at 35, by the way. That is down from our high for today, which the latest I checked was 59. We surpassed that 57, which we had posted about 10 o'clock this morning. And we shot up to, as far as I know, 59 as of today. So that's a new record high for the day, shattering an old record set back in 1924. But really the big story is there's current flooding going on near the Lake Erie shoreline in Sunset Bay. That is where we find a storm chaser, Mitch Billinger, right now. And he has shown a lot of waves that have been coming off Lake Erie near Sunset Beach. And Mitch, first of all, I wanted to bring you in here and want to get an update as to what the conditions are right now at Sunset Beach.
Hey, Dakota, I appreciate for bringing me online. So, folks, as you can see, it's been a pretty rough day. Starting at about 1:30 p.m., we headed out and began at Barcelona and worked our way up here to Sunset Beach. But as you can see currently, there is just a large, what they call lake stage going on, or what I would also call it a storm surge. This is kind of what you'd see in a tropical storm, of just these massive waves being driven by these high winds inland here, and all just flooding all this residential area. There's houses underwater here. We were notified that the area is closed, and also heard reports of evacuation possibly being ordered, but that's not confirmed. Currently, we're sustaining winds about 40 miles an hour here at the Sunset Bay Beach Club. And we did record a gust on our weather stations mounted on the vehicles of about 57 since I've been sitting here. The highest was about 59 in Dunkirk when we were there on Lakeshore Drive. So the winds keep driving and howling, and as you can see, currently sitting here, a lot more waves keep bringing even more and more water inland. So, take heed if you live near the Lake Erie shoreline, and listen to any updates from emergency personnel or evacuation orders.
Absolutely. And I wanted to touch on Dunkirk very quickly. I believe you guys were up in Dunkirk earlier this morning or this afternoon. What are the conditions like up there? Because I know there's been a lot of concerns about Lakeshore flooding up there because of the break wall. Obviously, a couple of years ago, for those that don't know, a couple of years ago, we had a high wind event that actually caused some waves to break part of the new break wall that they installed a couple of years ago. What's the conditions like up there from about a few hours ago from when you and Sean Sweatman were up there?
Yeah, so we actually we came up on the Lakeshore Boulevard there in Dunkirk And we arrived there when the road just had some minor waves coming off. And as soon as we arrived, though, the waves just started getting even higher and higher. And they just started quickly overtaking Lakeshore Boulevard. We had police come down the road and close the entire road. And I kid you not, as you can see with the video playing, that Lakeshore Boulevard was under 2.5, 3 feet of water within about 15, 20 minutes after the police showed up and said that they were going to close the road. So that could be definitely a result of that, the breakdown of that water break wall, just quickly overtaking Lakeshore Boulevard. And obviously it's still closed at this moment, and conditions will continue on throughout the night.
Yes, and this really doesn't impact our region, but if you are watching from Erie County, Pennsylvania, the Weather Service has nixed the wind advisory, but it's still going to be breezy, but that high wind warning stays in place. And so I just wanted to mention that because that had just came in. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you can see on the video here, that, obviously these waves have been pretty high today, whipping up a lot of that Lakeshore water up on Lakeshore Drive. And, obviously, the main concern obviously has been this Lakeshore flooding, because obviously this wind is west southwest, and when it comes directly off the lake like this, you always get that fear for some lakeshore flooding. And so obviously that was a couple hours ago, but the winds are still pretty fierce out there. Again, the current wind gust at Jamestown right now is 46, and I'll get the wind gust from the Dunkirk airport in just 1 second here. The peak gust
barge in there, Dakota. We actually showed 51 gusts that just came through here.
Okay, so that's at Sunset Bay, 51 mile per hour wind gust based off Mitch's weather equipment that he has on top of his storm chase vehicle, 51 mile per hour wind gust there. And the peak at Dunkirk stands at 63. That was measured at 3:15 at the Dunkirk airport. And obviously your number is obviously going to vary. And you see Mitch's live stream right there from Sunset Bay Beach. And it's still going to be a breezy night. Again, this wind, this high wind warning is going to stay in place until 11 o'clock tonight. And but the more encouraging thing I've seen outside of this, I have not really seen any damage reports. I do want to go back to Mitch for a second, because obviously you guys have been out there all day. Besides the lakeshore flooding, has there been any other damage that you guys have seen from trees down, power lines, anything like that?
So actually, over the past half hour sitting here at Sunset Bay, I've been seeing some flashes over some of these houses, what I almost kind of thought may have been lightning, but looking at radar, there's no really any storm systems around us. And on our storm chaser channels that all of us are on to communicate with each other, there was one of our chasers was passing by power flashes. So there have been arcing of power lines, power flashes. We did, as we left Lakeshore Drive, we actually came up on an elderly lady that was standing outside, and she was in tears. And the side of her house was actually blown right off. All the siding was blown off. So we stepped in and helped her and moved her vehicle out of harm's way. But we are getting more additional reports of down power lines, large trees, and actually we're going to be heading back that direction to investigate that.
All right, and obviously we'll keep our eyes peeled on your live streams, any pictures or videos that you guys send us. And of course, we mention this all the time, but sometimes we sound like a broken record when we say it, but we have to say it. I don't want anybody out there going out and storm chasing, trying to get video or pictures. Sean and Mitch have been trained for a long time. They know what they're doing, and even out even out in this, it's very dangerous. So, all these guys have been trained. They know what they're doing. So don't go out tonight and try to get pictures or video or anything, because you can get into trouble in a very quick hurry if you really don't know what you're doing. And we don't need any lives lost due to people trying to get video or pictures and try to get YouTube money. We don't need that. So Mitch and Sean, want to thank you guys very much for coming on, and obviously for going out today and getting these amazing views of, and obviously you see Mitch kind of going around right now, and you can see some of that flooding that is occurring right there. And again, this is all lakeshore flooding as those strong winds are coming across the lake, whipping these waves up. And again, Mitch mentioned it earlier, it's almost like storm surge. How, like, in a hurricane, you get storm surge, these big waves that crash ashore. Well, that's almost what this is. And this flooding can occur even inland away from the lakeshore area. So it's very dangerous tonight. So obviously, just keep your eyes on the weather. And we're going to stay here monitoring everything through the nighttime hours tonight. But again, the winds are going to remain strong through at least early tonight. The wind should subside a little bit after midnight, and then it will turn a little bit quieter as we go into Sunday. So again, you can just see the flooding right there near the Sunset Bay Beach Club there, going into Hanover, not Hanover, going into Sunset Bay right there. Well, there's a little town called Hanover, I believe, which sits on the county line between Erie and Chautauqua counties. It's where Irving is located. Irving is technically located in the town of Hanover. So there you go. Anyway, thank you guys for watching our special live coverage. And again, you can see that flooding right there. I mean, the flooding video is just amazing. I mean, we could stay here all day and just take this. And again, obviously when you deal with flooding issues like this, I mean, I think flooding is probably the worst thing to go through because, when you have a tornado or whatever, you kind of know the damage you can expect. But with flooding, water gets everywhere and it's a disaster. And it just causes a whole bunch load of damage with all this water. And so obviously, if you live in a flood prone area, obviously near the lakeshore communities, you need to pay attention here because this is what you could be experiencing, especially if you live near the Lake Erie shoreline with these strong winds whipping across Lake Erie. So right now we are going to end our coverage, but Mitch Billinger will be live basically for the next, he'll be live for a while, and you can check out his Facebook page. I believe his page is Western New York Storm Chasers. I believe we'll get the confirmation on that. I should know these things off the top of my head, but I don't. So we'll get the link for that. You can watch his live stream. Obviously, I think Sean is still out, so Sean will be streaming on his page, Chautauqua Weather Today. You can watch all their live streams there. But for now, this is Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter from his home office. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night and stay safe.
This is a First Defense Weather Alert.